Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new trend in the DIY industry, and I'm gonna jump on it. I'm talking about furniture made of cardboard. And yes, real cardboard. And it's real furniture at the end. I'm gonna start from this wiggle side chair from Vitra. You can see it over here. But for the next time, I want you to vote. So, on the right side, we have this contestant that is this very elegant and simple little curved couch over here. And on the right side, and on the other side, we have this other couch that instead has 2 wiggles inside and 2 puffs inside. So basically, just vote. Are we voting for the right one or are we voting for the left one? Obviously, the equipment that we need is cardboard. A lot of it. So, in most of the tutorials online, they show you that they just use a few cardboards and then in between they create a space and add volume inside so they don't have to cut each one of them. But because in this specific chair there is no fabric covering the cardboard, we're gonna have to use cardboard everywhere. No empty space. The depth of this chair is gonna be 61 centimeters. I couldn't remember, so I wrote it down. 43 is the height of the seating area and 87 is the entire height with the back of the chair. That's where we're gonna start from. You know that I love cheating, so the bottom of the chair, we're gonna do it parallel to the already cut in line so that we're sure that the base is perfectly straight because that's gonna give stability to our chair. And all the rest, we're gonna have to figure it out. There we go, following exactly the numbers and measurements that we found online. I'm gonna trace first the bottom line and then I'm gonna go ahead and mark the height. It is a little bit smaller than my cardboard and that is amazing. And also I will realize that the back of the chair goes a little bit more back, confront to the sitting area. So we're gonna have to draw that one in diagonal and that's why you will see me leaving a few centimeters on the back of the bottom legs. I started with a really small plate to make the curves and then only after that I realized that it's only 2 curves per side and that's why I had to use a huge salad plater to make the right curves. I'm gonna do on the back leg 1 huge curve in the middle and 1 half curve on the bottom and half curve for the top where your back is gonna place himself. Now that the dog calmed down, let's explain you my mistakes. So basically, I had divided the chair in 3 because I saw 3 curves, but it's wrong. You have to divide the 43 centimeters times 2 because it's only 2 curves. And this one's on this side, if you notice, it's still 2 because it's 1 full one and 2 half ones that still make 2. That's why it's divided by 2. And also, on the back of the chair, you will see that you have to go inside of 6 centimeters and make the curve there because the bottom leg and the back where the back of your chair where you have to sit is more external compared to the rest. Let's go on. Now it's time to connect your circles. And yes, you have to do from the front a diagonal line that goes till the curve on the back. And from making the internal circles, I use the technique of putting my wrist on the cardboard and just moving circularly around it so that it would be like perfectly straight. And after that, I continued all the diagonal lines. This is more or less the result you will have. And you can see that the back of the chair is diagonal. Math time! So I just calculated that I need to do this one around 70-80 times, and with a normal pair of scissors it would take me 15 minutes per cardboard, and that means like 4 days of work, which was not an option. So I ordered this one! This is the coolest little equipment I ever got in my life. I'm gonna put you the link for Amazon down below, and it basically... This is my first time using it! Let's test it. This is officially the best thing I ever bought! Guys, you know that I usually do stuff with ridiculous equipment. This means using knives to cut foam instead of the correct one, but I have to say that buying this little thingy of $35 changed the entire feeling of this tutorial. And let me finish it in like 1/4 of the time. So let's get our sample and trace an infinite amount of them. So what I did was now simply tracing the entire shape that we have built in advance. I used it on the most bottom right side of the cardboard as I could so that I could use the same cardboard twice. See, I'm gonna place the same shape twice, once on the top, once on the bottom, and this saved me so much money because actually, you know, cardboards are not the cheapest thing. I did end up spending like $50 for this tutorial.
And that's not a lot. The original one is $900. Once you finish tracing your drawing on the second cardboard, you just go inside and cut it all away. Yes, guys, you can still do it with normal scissors. This is just time saving.
I went ahead and wrote test on the first one that I drew because it's very important that you always use the test one to trace them and not every time trace it, cut it, and use a new one because it's gonna be slowly bigger and bigger. When you trace something, you always add a millimeter because you're on the outside. And if you always use a new one, it's gonna end up not working anymore together. Use always the test one, that is the one that you're not gonna stick.
What you're gonna see me doing now is simply tracing and cutting and tracing and cutting and tracing and cutting, and I'm gonna do this 80 times. Guys, 80 times. But it was totally worth it. I love the result so much. And yes, I made it for my dad, and I can't believe that he finally has one of my pieces in his home.
Okay, we're not even partly done, but let's start with step number 2. We're gonna start this day. I bought this glue that is made on purpose for cardboard paper, like the glue that you used as a child. We're just gonna use a brush and stick them all together.
Time for gluing. And guys, yes, there is a specific amount that you have to put because after a while I started becoming way too generous with it, and I thought that the white will become transparent, which is kind of true, but where I had huge drops falling out, that stayed kind of whitey and it wasn't nice at all. So guys, be generous but not too generous. We don't want to have white drips and drops out of the chair. Just go ahead, cover it with glue, stick with the other one on top, cover it with glue, stick the other one on top, till you have the final result of your chair. And you're gonna go and put something heavy on top to keep it compressed and in shape, so that you know that when you're gonna sit on it, it's not gonna detach. If you wanna know what I had to put on top of this cardboard, well, that's my Dungeons and Dragons manuals. Yeah, I'm not ashamed. I am a Dungeons and Dragons freak. I've been for all my childhood, and I still love it so much. Somebody wants to play with me?
Yes! The chair is done, and I can't wait to show you me sitting on top of it because it resists even my heavy butt. But before we do that, don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a comment choosing if you want me to do the half moon couch next time or the twirly one on this side. I'm gonna do the one that you guys are voting for. And let's go see the things that I would have done differently. I used a very thick blue marker to do all the lines, and that is because I was afraid that with the pen you wouldn't see the lines that I was drawing on the camera. In fact, you see here that with the pen it totally works. You're not gonna make a hole on the cardboard or carton. I never knew what is the right word for this. Anyway, that's the way that you should do it, because otherwise it's gonna leave you some blue lines on the external side of your chair, and that wasn't possible for me to take away. Such a bummer. Online it says that this chair is tall 43, but it does go lower like this. It does go lower on the back side, so this ends up being a bit too low for me. Like, it's very good if you want it as a lounge chair, but not as a table chair. And online they use it for tables. So I think that the measurement is weird or wrong. I don't know. I don't have the original one. But if I would have gone backwards in time, I would do it 4 or 5 centimeters taller, so that the back that goes down is the 43 centimeters and not the front that is the taller part. You got it. Let's go see the result. So you think I'm cheating and that this chair doesn't hold you, and that's why I didn't put any video of me on the chair. Well, let's go check that.